Okay, looks like it's working. Hello. I haven't been back on YouTube in probably about a year or so. Good reason for that. I was sharing a room in an apartment with a friend. It was not working out very well for several reasons, one of which being a one bedroom apartment is not easy for two separate people to live in. Um, there weren't a lot of compromises going on, and that's about all I'm going to say about it. But what I had to do was to wait until another apartment in this building came available. So that's why it's taken a while to get to the point where I have the privacy to create videos, and I will be starting to do more and more of that. It's something I enjoy, and hopefully, I can pass on some information that helps people. Um, just so you understand where I live and why I had to wait. I am in a very, very small apartment building. There are 32 apartments. Um, so there's only so many people that live here. Um, Three of those apartments are two bedrooms. Two of those are occupied. Um, One of them, it was a single person that lived in the one. Um, he has moved to a different city or town. It's more of a town than a city. And this building, these apartments are HUD apartments, which means in my case, this particular building is for seniors and disabled, and they are government subsidized because many of us on Social Security or on disability don't make enough money off of that, even though we paid into it for years, um, to afford a regular apartment. However, I will say this, and I am in Colorado, in a very small town. This particular building is exceptionally nice. Um, and when I have a little more time another day, I'll show it a little tour of this little one bedroom apartment. Um, I'm not going to go beyond that, but it's pretty nice. It's 40 years old. So there are some dated things, but they're functional. And there's good people that live here. Um, Most of them are older than me. I'm about to be 63. And I started my Social Security last year when I turned 62 because I can't work anymore with my back. Now, if I had a desk job, yes, I could. But there are very few jobs in a very small town, and it was like just a couple of months after I moved here, the big C word started throughout the country and the world. And so lots of places were shut down, and about the only jobs available um, is retail, restaurant work, things like that, or what I consider guy jobs, like, driving heavy equipment, doing roofing, that kind of stuff. Sorry, but a 63-year-old lady who's somewhat overweight isn't going to do it, especially with sciatica, bad knees, uh, the general variety of ailments that you get. The sciatica is probably the worst part. But I manage it without having to take medication all the time. So, I'm happy to be retired with, granted, a small income, but an income. And because rent is based on a percentage of your income, I can afford to live here. And it's a very nice apartment. Unlike many places, like where I used to live in Texas, because I checked into that as well before I moved, the utilities here are included in your rent. There's no extra charge for that, which I'm grateful for. In Texas, I would have had to pay my own. And considering that you run an air conditioner almost 24/7, 365 days a year, that would have not been affordable on what I get. So, I'm going to be very honest and let you know that I do have a SNAP card. That is the EBT or food stamp program. Because my income is fairly low, it's way below poverty level. Although I could get by with it. I am on the SNAP program, and before the COVID thing started, it was very limited. It started out for me at like $16 a month. They've since upped it to $25. However, because we're still dealing with COVID, we are dealing with supply issues of things. Prices are higher, seems to be pretty much across the country. I don't know about across the world. They've increased that greatly. And so I've taken the opportunity to stock up on things that are non-perishable. Because one day, God willing, the virus will be gone. And maybe things will go back to normal. Maybe they won't, as far as the economy and pricing, supply lines. I have no idea. I'm not a doomsday person. I'm not afraid for the future. I will say that right up front. I am not in fear. But I've always had a stockpile of non-perishable food items. It's just the smart way to buy groceries, in my mind. Because if you can get them on sale at a cheaper price now than what you're probably going to have to pay for in the future, even just looking at, normal, whatever that used to be, and that, just as time goes on, prices go up. If you can get it now and it's still going to be good in several years running, you've saved a whole lot of money. And that's just my thinking on it. That's my beliefs. That's the way I was raised. That's what I do. So, what I wanted to talk about in this video, which I guess I'm going to have to talk a little faster, is that I'm not going out and going crazy. But I am taking that SNAP money that's a little bit more than I would need every month, honestly. But I'm not refusing it because at some point most of it's going to go away. So I am stockpiling, or some people would call it prepping. Whatever you want to call it's fine by me. I don't care. I just call it being smart. So when the grocery store coupons, which we have 2 grocery stores in this very small town, we do not have any dollar stores. Our Dollar Tree closed way early this spring and shut down. They will not be back. We have no other Dollar Generals, Family Dollars, no discount stores like that. We have a Walmart that is fairly small. And yes, you can order things online, but sometimes you don't want to order that much stuff to have to come, be delivered to your door. And sometimes, if you don't order a certain amount, they're going to charge you shipping. Okay. So I go to Walmart for dry goods only because that's all they carry. They have 5 aisles that are maybe 10 feet long of cereals, pastas, canned goods, chips, snacks, you know, stuff in jars, stuff in cans. And then a longer aisle of part of it is like coffee and tea, and then it goes into some juices and Gatorade if there's any Gatorade there. But that's not something I normally buy. And then all of the sodas and the beer at the end. That's They have a cooler with gallons of milk, pounds of butter, and sodas. You cannot afford their gallons of milk or their pounds of butter. They want almost $5 for 1 pound of butter. That's ridiculous. They want about $5 for a gallon of milk. Now, thankfully, I don't drink milk. It doesn't sit well with me. But there are better places to buy it. Our other two stores are City Market, which, if you are familiar with any of that in the West area, you'll know that that's actually Kroger's. They carry the biggest variety of stuff. But except for their Kroger brands, it's higher priced. They have a bigger variety of the produce than the other grocery store. But again, it's higher priced. So I look online to see what's in their sale paper. And they also have digital coupons, so I can just clip them that way and then just scan my little card and it'll give me those sale prices, which is nice because although City Market Kroger's has actual cashiers, most people use the self-checkouts because Walmart, that's all they have. So people are used to doing that. But for both the City Market and the other grocery store, which is Safeway, which some of you may not be familiar with that, it's part of the Albertson family of stores. They carry a pretty good variety. They are having, or did have, some supply issues, but they've pretty much got stuff stocked back up again. I thought there was some kind of meat issue this week because there was hardly anything in the meat section. I mean, not even hot dogs. They had an issue with some equipment, and so everything had to be pulled and gotten rid of for safety reasons. So hopefully next week that won't be an issue, because I do like to buy whatever kind of meat might be on sale, or I look at my favorite section is the markdown section. It's been there too long. They've got to do something with it, either throw it away or sell it cheap. They will usually put it in the sell it cheap section, which is 30% off. Meat is very pricey here. Everybody says, well, the groceries and the gas and everything else is high because it's got to come over the mountain. Well, maybe so, but, they have planes come into Denver. Things go on trucks. I just, people, the trucks are driving across the country. I don't see what the problem is, whether there are, sorry, I keep shaking that. It's sitting on my Chromebook is sitting on a little laptop thing here. Anyway, what I'm doing is I go through the digital coupons. I go through the weekly sale paper. That all comes out on Wednesday. I can do it all online. I make my list from that. I write down the things that I like to eat that are on sale, what their price is, and how many I'm allowed to buy. Most of the time, things are like you're allowed 4, 5, 6 of something. Sometimes it's only 2, depends what it is. So those are the items I purchase. And if it's things that I can store in a closet that I've turned into a pantry, that's great. Canned good items, dry good items, stuff like that. And I've bought as much as I can while I have the funds, um, to just stock up on stuff. Now, I've also been doing some canning this year since I've got my own apartment. Um, and I had a terrible time finding regular mouth sized lids. About a week and a half ago, Walmart got a huge, must have been a case of them or something. Um, they got those in the regular mouth sized. So, and I had plenty of wide mouth, but those jars are full. So, um, I went and bought boxes of the regular mouth lids. I bought 10. And when I went back today, they had 6 boxes left. I bought those. They had one case of wide mouth pint jars, which is pretty much all I'm using for canning of foods because there's only one of me. I don't need a quart of anything. I have gotten some Thursday. Went to a local thrift store and I got 15 quart size canning jars, and about 10 pint jars, which I will use for storing the quarts I'll use for storing dry goods. Like, I don't like to leave things in their original packaging, if it's, the thin plastic bags like for dry beans or rice. I also don't like to save up boxes of mixes and rices or instant potatoes or, stuff like that in their original packaging. And everything goes in the freezer at least overnight, usually for several days. Make sure I am not going to end up with pantry moths. And then it comes out, dries out, warms up, and then it goes in quart jars to be stored. Um, Quart jar doesn't always hold as much as that bag, but I'll use 2 jars. That way I've got it. I have a variety of things, and I've gotten them at a good price because they were on sale. In the past, I have bought number 10 cans of things and recanned it into jars. I'm not doing that because, number one, I'm not finding any number 10 cans anywhere. And there's only me, so a number 10 can would give me enough for a long time. Because that would usually have been tomato sauce or tomatoes. And this year I bought 50 pounds of fresh tomatoes grown somewhat locally. It's about 2 hours away. Their family farm is about 2 hours away. But the people live here locally in this little town, and it was a good deal. It was about $1 a pound. And so I bought 50 pounds. Those are the best tomatoes I've ever put in my mouth, even ones I grew myself. And they were fresh. I mean, I had to wash dirt off of them. That's how fresh they were. I shared some with some neighbors, and the rest of them I canned. And so I have enough tomatoes for a long time. I pureed them in my Ninja blender so that I was able to utilize those for anything that I wanted to make. Now, there's not chunks in them. They're like a puree. The reason I did that is staring at 2 boxes, 50 pounds of tomatoes, and having to wash, and I have no freezer to put them in to then unfreeze them where the peels come off easily. I would have had to scald them in boiling water and peel them. I just couldn't face doing that. But if I run them through that Ninja Bullet blender, and of course it only holds so much at a time, and that's fine. It went pretty fast. Because literally I would cut them in chunks, throw them in the blender, and they would go for maybe 10-15 seconds, and they were puree. And then I just dumped them in the pot to get hot. because they were going in a water bath. Everything needs to be hot. So that's what I did with those. So I have plenty of tomatoes for sauces or add to soups or stews or casseroles or whatever's. And I had a little bit left over. I stuck it in the fridge. And the next morning I looked at that and I thought, So I drank it. Best tomato juice ever. Don't have to buy that for a while. So, my suggestion, if you are looking to save money, if you're at all concerned about the economy or where the country's direction it's going, politically, economically, whatever, or if you're like me, you don't want to get out in below freezing weather in the winter to go grocery shopping and have to haul it home and haul it, into your building or your house or whatever, because my parking spot is the length of the building away. We only have so many. I was grateful to get one, at least has a cover over it. It's not enclosed, but it at least has a cover over it. So I don't have to scrape ice off. So, I would look at doing, look and see what's on sale. If you, your family, significant other, whatever, if it's things that you like that you will eat, I would highly suggest save yourself some money by using money that you can afford to spend on putting some back in a pantry. You can call it a stockpile. Some people call it their prepper pantry. Call it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. But stocking up for the winter, stocking up for a hard time like a job loss, a virus coming through that puts you with no job. Maybe you got to work at home. There's a lot of people that's been able to do that, and they are darn lucky, because there's a lot of people that had no jobs because they're just, stores have closed. I can't tell you how many places in this small town, and though we're kind of a touristy town for the outdoor activities that people do, the hiking, the biking, the mountain climbing, the skiing, the snowboarding, fishing, that kind of stuff is very, very popular in this area. People drive from other states to come here for those things, and it's very touristy. So it's a nice place to live. It's a friendly place to live. I'm in a very good place as far as my apartment building. Our rooms our apartments are set up such that your door opens to the hallway. There's apartments on each side of the hallway. We're enclosed. Our apartments do not open up to the outside. You have to go downstairs. Well, I'm on the third floor. That's as high as we are, is 3 floors. And we have an elevator and stairs. And I go down to the first floor to go outside to the car, whatever. Sit outside for a while. Now I've lost my train of thought. That happens when you get older, Anyway, I've rattled on for 24 minutes. I think it's time I stop this for now, but I would just highly, highly suggest that if for no other reason than to save money by buying it when it's on sale, that's going to be better than when you got to buy it for full price later on. Stock up some things. I'm not saying go crazy and fill your apartment or your house with, canned goods and bottled water and all this other stuff. I'm saying do it to save some money. Be frugal. Stretch that money as far as you can, because none of us know what's going to happen. There's just no way to know. Not really. So do yourself a favor. Take care of yourself and your family. Do what you can. I'm told that heating prices may go up this winter because of shortages of getting things to places they need to go. I'm This place is all electric and I don't have utility bills. I just have my rent every month. And then, I have a car, so I have car upkeep and car insurance. And I pay for internet. That's it. I don't own a TV, haven't for years. I don't do radio because we have one radio station here. It's run by the local college and they play weird stuff. Or at least it's weird to me. So I'm going to shut up now. And I promise I'll be back more often with lots of different kinds of videos. Um, but I'm just seeing a lot of these kind of videos on YouTube right now. They're coming up quite often. And people stockpiling and doing prepper things. And if you can and you want to, that's great. You'll have that much more food, water, and other supplies. A lot of people doing medical supplies and, waiting for the end of the world as we know it. I don't feel like that. Um, I hope I'm right. But I can only do what I can do. And the one time I used to stockpile some of that. I don't now. I don't have the space for a lot of stuff. And they're just, if I can't use it right now, what's the point? That's just my thoughts on it. And just kind of letting you know what I've been doing. I will get back with you and show you the apartment, show you the one room that's a disaster still, um, for good reason. But it's getting there. I might take you in there with me while I'm organizing and fixing and straightening and what have you. I don't know yet if I feel like doing that. I don't generally like to show the messiness of stuff. Um, but I'm about to the point where I'm going to be able to get back doing some crafty things. I have some things in mind. I have some projects that are half started, and I'll be working on those. And I'll take you along with me in case you're interested, and anything else that comes along. Um, but I'm going to have to get off of here because I need to go shower, wash my hair so it can dry before tonight. A friend and I are going to a Halloween ball for adults only at the local Elks Lodge. They do a lot of stuff that's open to the public here. And so there's going to be live music. Um, I have a feeling it's probably country western music, but I'm not certain. It's a local band and I don't know anything about them. So that should be fun. And we're dressing up. And so that's just kind of fun for me. I've missed going out to things and, going to concerts and things like that. So this is going to be fun. Everybody have a good and safe Halloween. If you don't celebrate Halloween, that's okay. Have a good weekend. And I will talk to you soon. Hopefully.